Good morning. I'm going to turn this on so you're going to see a little video glitch in a moment. Guess waiting for the glitch. On freeze right now and buffering on the channel. 2 minutes before go time, my phone rang from a client and I considered, do I answer this or not? And I said, yeah, because I know I can tell her that I've got a meeting starting in 1 minute. She said, power went, they had power surges yesterday. She didn't say power outage, she said power surges. I can't start my computer. I can't turn my computer on. So I'm glad I answered the call. I told her, disconnect the power cable from your computer, leave it disconnected for a full minute, and then try starting it up. And I told her, I've got a meeting that's going to start in 1 minute, so I'm going to have to call you back if that doesn't solve your problem. So that was quick solutions to work stoppage. That's a good score when you can do that. I got audio confirmation already. I'll pop out chat, take a quick look over here. I've got emails today. I've got chat comments from yesterday to catch up on. And I've got something else. I don't remember what it was. I don't have any comments on videos to go to today. So I'll just say hello to people over here. Ken Stout first, Chris second, yada, yada, yada. Some conversation between Ken and I. Good morning from Brian. Brian, we're going to be talking about some of your stuff today. Does anybody know that bright yellow thing in the sky could be? I guess he hasn't seen the sun for a while. Good mornings from people. Josh and Ran and Jeff, Selden. Great. Let's see, Selden. Greetings to all with no forwarding. Does that mean a longer session? No forwarding. Oh, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, since Ken doesn't have a session for me to end at 30 minutes, I still like to keep these shows to 30 minutes. Windows Daily. Zavine Menorah, Lawn Dog, Rand, Kenny Whitten. Okay, so let's get to what I want to go first. Oh, I know what I want to go first is the chat comments from yesterday that I caught up on after ending the live stream. A weird thing ending the live stream yesterday is when I went to click to stop the stream, the button was not red, which means I'm not streaming. But yet when I went back and played the replay, my moment of confusion at the end was there. So it was actually broadcasting that. What I did yesterday is when I read through the comments, I copied them and pasted them into a calendar item so I could get the ones that I wanted to follow up on. From Dennis. Oh, see the time, AM, and then the person's name, so it's a little weird how that shows up. I'm about zooming in on this. Where Jen, who's another Fortnite player, says there's speakers in the PS5 controller. Jacob needs to disable them. We'll get into that in a little bit. And from Daniel Emberley, what do you do to develop confidence backups will actually work and restore when you need them? My answer to that is do a restore. Now, you probably don't want to do an image of your current active boot drive and then try restoring that whole thing without having some kind of backup option. I've done exactly that in the past where I would install a different drive, do an image backup of my main drive, and then put in a different drive, take out my original drive, put in some other drive, and restore the image to that. That's a great confidence builder. Another thing that you can do is just restore individual files, selected files. But testing restore is a very, very important step. We don't talk about that enough. In any backup environment, you should do test restores periodically, not just once when you first engage with the backup software, but do it periodically. I have had times earlier in my career where I went to restore something that I believed that it did back up successfully. The backup file is there. Of course it worked. I didn't get any error messages. Of course it worked. But then when I go to restore, I find I got a problem. I've had that happen, and that's usually been some form of configuration issue, I think, long time ago. So not entirely sure. Then let's come back and see what else we got. So that's Danielle. Yeah, and it's important to have confidence. Another way that I have confidence is because it's my business. I have done real restore operations numerous times. And for many, many years, they've always worked. The only things that haven't worked for that is when I go to a client's office where they are responsible to check and make sure the backups are working, and they have not kept up with it. I create them a log sheet, tell them to write this in when you confirm the backups were made, so that we know that it's working. I have one client where I stopped counting on them because when we needed to restore, I'd go to their office and find that backups haven't been working. They haven't been checking them, and we lost like a couple weeks worth of work. So I do the checking on that office now. That's the law office I mentioned many times, has the rack mount servers and around 40 workstations. So I do not want to get in that situation again where I can't restore because they haven't been checking. So I fully manage those and charge them for the time that I spend doing it. Then from Gary, info had media errors on the bottom two lines of the screen. So I found that. I know where that is now. I'm going to go show that today during this session. From Gary, media and data integrity, I remember 2500. So we're going to go look at that. Dennis found a website might help with Jacob's problem. I've got that down lower here, and we'll go look at that today. I'm intending to, so which means we might go over 30 minutes. From Jim, modern BIOS has a secure erase function in them. I want to demonstrate that. I want to put that on my list of things to do. So I gotta write this down on my little notepads here. Demo secure erase, because I think I've noticed that, but I've never actually tried doing it in BIOS. And since I also have access to multiple computers, maybe I show some computers that have the option and some that don't. Lawn Dog to Jim says that's awesome, a fantastic suggestion yet. You're absolutely right. They do. If I use it, it'll be the first time ever I tried that method. Now, the reason why this conversation came up is because Lawn Dog has the bad NVMe drive that he wants to get replaced from Samsung because it's well within its warranty period, 1.5 years old, and it's a 5-year warranty. But he's concerned about erasing the content first. So BIOS secure erase would be a great way to do that. Then from Selden Ball, Rain Meter has been known to cause audio problems even with its audio-related plugins. Maybe try turning it off. I think that was in respect to Eric's issue of no sound in Fallout 4. I think that's what that was, because Rain Meter, I think, was giving him those buttons down at the bottom of his Windows desktop screen. And then Gary says about 50 minutes in the videos where that issue is shown with Crystal Disk Info, and we'll go look at that. And then here's the link that Dennis provided, and I'll go open that page. And that one is out here. It asks if I want to leave YouTube. So sorry, I know it hurts your feelings, YouTube. Then since I'm here, I'll go ahead and deal with this one. Jacob, when we're playing Fortnite with Jacob, he's recently bought a new microphone. He still has the echoing problem. He's using a PS5, and this article gives several ways to fix that, and I want to talk about it a little bit because other people might be interested in this too. High mic sensitivity by lowering it. Now, Jen was telling him you've got to turn it down in your settings on the PS5, but she wasn't saying what to turn down. So I'm sure she was referring to mic sensitivity. And to do that, go into, on the PS5, go to Settings, Sound, Microphone, adjust microphone level, then move the L analog stick left to lower it. Now, the reason why I want to mention this is because a lot of us use microphones, and microphone sensitivity is not the same thing as microphone volume. Think of sensitivity as when your microphone is this far away from you, it doesn't take a lot of sensitivity for it to hear you. Your sound waves coming from your mouth have a certain size. I'm not a sound engineer, so I'm not going to use good words here, but it can recognize that you're close to the microphone. Other sounds that are more distant, the sound waves aren't going to be as strong. So turning the sensitivity down means it's going to hear from here, but sounds that are out there, it's going to ignore them and not pick them up. And it sounds like what was going on with Jacob's microphone and still going on is that his microphone has high sensitivity and it's picking up the sound that's coming into his headset and it's echoing that back to us. So turning the sensitivity down should cause the microphone to ignore the noise that it hears from his headset that's over his ears. That's a thing. Turn the sensitivity way down. If it's 0 to 100, turn it down to 5 or 10. Just turn up just enough so that your voice comes over okay, and that should eliminate it picking up the sound from the headset. Now there's more to this. We're not done yet. Well, let's go take a quick look at chat and see. It's a frequency, amplitude, and I don't think that's I think there's some other. I think there's some other word for that, and I don't know it offhand. I'll probably recognize it if you come to a proof of concept. Other words, test your backups. Yeah, test your restores. Sometimes, I don't know, I'd be a little leery of some people when you say test your backups, they think, well, just go make sure there's no error messages. I'd like to say test restoring. Wife had one client who sent 10 9-track backup tapes offsite every night of the week for 3 years. They did not back up any data ever. Oh, wait a minute. Is this what I think it is? Wife had one client, a client of Gary's wife, who sent 10 9-track backup tapes. So there was a time in history where backups were made on tape, and 9-track means it had 9 tracks running across the tape to do the backup. Sending 10 of them off-site every night of the week. So they would do the backup on using 10 tapes, send them off-site every night of the week, and then put in another 10 tapes for 3 years, and they did not back up any data ever. So they thought, I'm interpreting here, they thought they were backing up successfully, and they were rotating these, sending them out off-site every night and putting in the new tapes. And it was actually reel-to-reel tape. Does that mean you actually thread it through yourself rather than some kind of a cassette? Cassette tape has reels, but reel-to-reel, I think it means you're putting a reel on and threading it through the heads and putting it on the pickup reel, and the backups were not working, they discovered after 3 years. Hopefully they discovered it not when needing to do a restore. Quick glance over other stuff, and it was a mainframe. That makes sense. I got another client. I'm going to have to call him back later. Now, then, get back to where I was at, going for more of this microphone thing. What might be causing echoes? Microphone sensitivity too high. We already said that. High volume of the speaker. So he's using headsets. If he's got that volume up really high because he likes to be blasted, that can be an issue. Probably not what's going on for him. Wrong audio input is selected. So his microphone of his PS5 is actually picking up audio instead of his USB microphone or his headset microphone. I think he got a new headset, and I think he's using the microphone through the headset. I don't think he has a desk microphone. But either way, this could be an issue if you have the wrong audio put in selected. For instance, if audio input. So if the microphone of the PS5 is actually active, even though you're hearing through the headset, you assume it's picking up sound through the microphone, and you have lowered the sensitivity of that microphone, but you actually have the microphone of the PS5 active. There's another thing about microphone and the PS5 coming up here. Moisture on the headphone jack. Now, I haven't heard of this. This seems kind of excessive. If you are not packing the headset into a plastic bag after each use, I guess, then you should unplug the headphone and clean it with a clean cloth. So if you're leaving it plugged in, they're saying you should unplug it, clean it with a cloth, and put it back in, but it kind of implies that they're recommending that you put your headset into a plastic bag every time you're not using it. Wow. That's a nuisance. Your TV volume is too high. Damaged headset. Don't need to go into details about that. And then for changing the microphone to the headset, this is telling how to do it on the PS5. Scroll down and smash the X button. I cringe when I say that because not everybody understands lingo. You don't know what, non-English as a first language speakers may not understand those. Then on microphone, then input. I object to the way they worded this. They did not word it clean and understandable for everybody who might read this. Scroll down and select the X button on sound. You could say click, but I'm not sure, is there a touchscreen involved? Rather than smash. I know that sounds cool, but not everybody's going to understand that. Then select microphone, then select input. Use the words. Use your words. That you're leaving too much to the person to assume what you meant. What do you do when you can't see your headset? Most of us like to keep our microphone muted from the headset when we're not using it. Well, if that's the case, PS5 has a bone to pick with you. I don't want to read through all of this. What was the piece here? First, unplug your headset, then unmute your mic from the headset, and then re-plug it in. So they're saying that's a fix if your microphone on your headset is not working, because if you had that muted physically on the mute button of the microphone and you plug the headset in, the computer, the PS5 is not going to detect that there's a microphone there. It's not going to work. So you unplug it, push the button on the headset to unmute it, and then plug it in. Lowering your sensitivity. Oh, you're so sensitive. If your mic sensitivity is too high, your friend's voice, that's exactly what we have, is leaking from your headset. Our voices, when we speak, it gets reflected back to us from Jacob's headset. His voice does not echo. It's only our voices. And it's even happened when he's muted. And there I'm thinking that one of these other microphone things might be that issue there. Then the mic might be able to pick up that voice. I don't think we need to talk about if you're playing on speaker. And I don't like the way they worded that, because you're assuming they understand what you mean. Do not have your speaker dispensing sound if you're using a headset with a microphone. They're saying, I don't think we need to talk about it, because they're assuming the reader understands this. I don't like making those kind of assumptions. We can prevent echo, but just by lowering mic sensitivity. To lower mic sensitivity, do these. So it's go to the setting of the top right corner of the screen, scroll down till you see sounds, go to the microphone, adjust microphone level, increase or decrease level with the analog stick. Now there, it didn't use the word sensitivity. Does that menu option actually say sensitivity, or is it adjusting the volume of the microphone? If it only says volume, then that's what you got to work with. Turn it down. And then also I've noticed with Jacob's microphone is that when other sounds are heard, they're heard at the same volume that we're hearing his voice. So microphones, when you start talking, they can instantly adjust to the volume that they're hearing and output that correctly to wherever it's going. If you're not talking and there's other sounds in the environment, it will amplify those sounds to the level of your voice, or that may be happening. I don't know if that's specifically happening in this case. But that's a reason to turn down the volume so it doesn't amplify them, but hopefully there's a setting called sensitivity. All in all, make sure no background noise is filtering through your mic. Method 3, disable 3D audio. 3D audio gives you the sense of where the opponents, your enemies, are coming from, what direction they're coming from. I get that you enjoy very much. Yeah. And here's how to disable 3D audio. Set controller mic sensitivity to 0. Take the sensitivity all the way down to 0. I see some people make adjustments to things and they'll turn it from 90 down to 80. No, not enough. Go down to 5. Go down to 0. And then just work your way up. What to do? Let's see. This one's from Reddit. What you do in this method, pull controller side mic's sensitivity all the way down, then connect the headset. Oh, that's interesting. Turn it down before you connect the headset. Don't forget to unmute the mic before connecting it. There's a high pause. Now, the reason why I'm going through this in detail is it may not be the things that a person might have assumed. Oh, turn the sensitivity down, and they don't come and read this. This is dealing with several different ways to deal with this particular issue. Sounds, how far along am I? 20 minutes after. Yeah, we're going to go over time. Go to microphone and then adjust the volume. So you click on microphone there. Let's see, let's go back up a little bit. Sound. And then you choose microphone. Here's the audio output to turn off the 3D audio. And some of these things could just be troubleshooting. Just try it. See if it makes a difference. Hold the L stick to lower it. Lowering the audio. Okay, this is a method 5. We're on the 5th way of dealing with this. This one's from Reddit. Like we discussed before, that high volume can lead to echoing. So this is lowering the sound that's coming into your headset or your speakers. Then there's another one, reset your controller. If your controller is having some software issue, nothing wrong with the controller, don't worry, resetting is really easy before resetting. So this reset button on the back of the controller would reset it to manufacturer defaults. I'm presuming that's what they're doing. Restart your PS5, that's kind of obvious. Test your headset with a different controller, borrow someone else's headset, someone else's controller, try to figure out how it's going to. Now there's one other thing that I missed finding in there, and it was disconnect your headset so that now you're just playing on the microphone and the speakers of the PS5, and disable both of those items. Disable that microphone, disable that audio, then plug in your headset. The thinking behind that is that when you're getting your sound through your headset, the speaker of the PS5 still might be leaking some audio through there, or the microphone might be picking up some audio through there. And somewhere along the line, somebody said that was kind of a glitch in the system. Now, where did I finish with? No, I don't think I finished over here. Come on, switch screens. Switch screens. Buttons aren't responding quick enough. Is everything okay? There it goes. Wow, that was really slow. Let's see if people are telling me any problem in chat. No. Gary, mainframe when needed. If YouTube creator used show transcription, show it, then do a control search for what the host said. Found the word info. Show transcript. I'm aware of that. I don't know if he's telling me that or telling somebody else that. Sorry, I didn't proofread this document. By the way, he plugs his headset into his controller. Controller is connected PS5 normally, presumably wirelessly. Oh, that's a good point. If his headset is wireless, I wonder if there's something going on there. Then let's come back to the chat room here. Let's see. That was Dennis's link at the end. So I did finish all of that. Now let's get on to emails. Go emails, or should I go the web connections? I'll go emails. I have set up a new, what do they call them? These things over here, whatever. Flags on emails to point out ones that I want to show. And I need to do a little bit of blurring here. So here I get to practice blurs again, but my buttons just are not coming up quite quickly enough to suit me. Here we go. Then I'll go scrunch this down this way to block the email address for an email from Dennis Ostergren. Yeah, he's making reference to one of my prior videos about SpinRite. And he says at the 23-24 minute mark, my SpinRite serial numbers show, and I went back and looked at that. But yeah, on that same screen though, it states that the information you need to keep secret is the transaction number. So my understanding with SpinRite, the serial number isn't going to allow somebody to download your copy of it. You have to have the transaction number. So I don't think that's really an issue. If somebody knows differently, I would like to be informed about that. As you might know, using your transaction records, your transaction records can be obtained. No, they cannot. You have to have the transaction number, not just the serial number. I did not expose the transaction number. So I think I'm okay on that. But if you know something else, if I'm wrong about that, let me know. Then I'll, let's see, I guess I should bring up the next email and look to see if I need to blur anything. I do not. So this is from Brian, the Lightfoot. The other day on one of your live fields, myself and at least one other commented in chat about experiencing a slow opening of Chrome. I Googled the problem and came up with multiple sites, all giving their view of fixing the problem, ranging from rebooting the router, clearing cache, yada, yada. I went back into Chrome from settings, extensions. Basically what he's telling us here, what he did is he went into extensions, disabled them all, then his slow opening was fixed. And so he figured one of his extensions is causing the problem. And that's not the case because he went back and re-enabled them one at a time, got them all re-enabled, and his Chrome is still working fast. So if somebody is interested in doing that, doesn't know how, I'll show that. Right up here, I have the extensions icon in the toolbar up here at the top. It looks like a puzzle piece. You have to tell it to display that icon up there, so it might not be up there. When I click on that, it displays all of these extensions. The other way you can get into extensions, if you don't have that icon, is go to the settings menu and then more tools and then extensions. If you're using a different browser other than Google Chrome, the techniques to get to extensions might be a little bit different, but the same concept is there. And it might be called add-ins. So if I go to extensions here, then you can just click all of these to turn them off. You might want to take a picture with your cell phone first so that you have a record of which ones you had active to begin with. Turn them all off, see if Chrome launches faster for you then, and then go back and turn them on either one at a time or maybe half of them at a time, or half of the ones that are currently deactivated, turn them on. If it's still fast, then turn half of the remaining ones on and see how that works for you. Then I got to get back to his email here, so that's it for that one. Then I'll come back to here. You know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with me showing this screen. No, there isn't, this list of emails. So I'll bring that back. And then this next one, service from PayPal. Brian Lightfoot sent me $25 in PayPal. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You can support this channel by doing super chats or the super thanks that are done in comments. Now, YouTube takes like, what is it, 30%, 40% of that money? PayPal takes like 3%, so more of your money comes through to me. Amazon gift cards, it all comes through to me. Now, if I do open your gift here, just to show you what this looks like when you send a gift, I'll log in to the PayPal account, and it takes me into this page right here showing his gift, and then there's a button here for open your gift. So I click on that, and that opens this digital gift. Says you're golden. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. And then I'm gonna, let's see, Brian sent you 25 gift card, and then thanks. Thanks is the message. Now if I go back to this page on this screen, let's get back, go back. I'm still waiting for you. Come on, go back. Come on, here you go. I can do this message to Brian Lightfoot. So I click on that, and then I got to drag that. Oh no, there it is. Something happened on the other screen. Oh, that was just my monitoring. Let's see. Thank you very much, and for your participation as well. Exclamation and send. And I think he's in chat right now. Let's get back to these emails. Come back to here. I'm going to bring chat up right quick. Make sure everything's going okay. Yeah, there's some orange. That's how I found crystal disk info on the lawn dog. Yeah, that's the same way I went to find it too. I used that technique, Gary, to go look at it, but I didn't understand what you're getting at, and I will show that. I'll show why I didn't understand it. That's how I found it. Yes, I did exactly the same thing. I searched in the transcript for crystal disk info and found it that way. And it was right where you said, and it was where I already looked at it. I just wasn't getting it. Other orange, if you use friends and family, you get the entire amount. Oh, and I guess you're referring to PayPal. if you use friends and family. Interesting. Did not know that. By the way, I got an email from a company identifying itself as Venmo. I Googled Venmo. I'm not a member. I summarily deleted the email. Yeah, Venmo. I know. I'm acquainted with it. Not real well, but I've come across it. All right, then let's go on. Josh Kinder is next. He says, I have a question. I've ordered a Blue Yeti USB microphone. Can I plug it into my USB hub, or does it need to be plugged into the computer directly? Maybe someone can use this information that you can give for your Windows Daily Show. Thank you, Doug, for everything. Your friend Josh. I have a USB hub right here on my desk. You don't need to see it. I have my mouse and my keyboard plugged into it. I do not like plugging microphones and cameras into USB hubs. Can you do it? Well, you might be able to do it. Josh, my answer to you, if you really need to use that USB hub for the Blue Yeti microphone, then try it. If it works okay, you're fine. Part of it depends upon what else is plugged into that hub. And is everything at the right level of USB? So you need to check on that Blue Yeti. What level of USB does it require? I think it's USB 2.0. I do not think it requires USB 3. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And then your hub, it's better if it's a powered hub, that things will generally work better, but then also, is it at least the same level? It could be a USB 3 hub and your device is USB 2, that's fine. But using a USB 3 device and a USB 2 hub is not going to work very well. Then if it is a USB 3 hub that you're using, do you have a USB 3 cable connected to your computer, and is it connected to a USB 3 port on your computer? So you got to be right about all of those things. My Blue Yeti is connected directly to the computer through like a 30-foot USB cable. 30? At least 30. Could be over that. Then let's go back to the next one. Let's see. I'm going to take that off screen and check to see if there's anything I want to. Yeah, I do want to do a little bit of arranging here. So I have maneuvered this screen so that his email address is concealed. It's from Brian at Lightfoot's. And this was in response to Eric's issue with Fallout 4. No, it wasn't. Whose was this that had the ARC driver? Was that Lawn Dog? Well, anyway, let's get through it. I've noticed some comment confusion about users running Intel ARC drivers, but other users saying they can't be if they only have integrated graphics. So yes, we did say that recently, that he didn't have a dedicated graphics card, so there's no point in having ARC drivers. Brian is saying, no, that's not true. You can benefit from having the ARC drivers installed. So I'm going to do a little bit more on this, but first I'm going to zoom this up a little bit and do it in such a way that I'm not going to expose the email address. He didn't specifically ask me to conceal his email address, but I'm trying to do that. Let's see, let me try to clear up some of that. About 2 months ago, Intel started pushing what were driver updates onto users running Intel integrated graphics, such as Intel UHD 770 graphics. Included with those most recent graphic updates were ARC drivers, and the fact that the name ARC appeared in the driver confused everybody, thinking, wait a minute, I don't have a Intel ARC graphics card. The answer is simple. Intel pushed onto its users a standardized user interface titled Intel ARC Controls. For example, my system has an Intel i7 12700K using integrated graphics, but my updated graphics driver from Intel gives me ARC Controls. To me, it appears as merely a user interface for various settings tailored to whatever games I could be running. Once again, I do not have a discrete ARC graphics card, but the latest driver gives me the ARC graphic controls. Here are some screen grabs. So he shows us here. Let's see, this is a first picture. He didn't highlight anything specific there, but then here's another one where he shows down the bottom left Intel ARC Control. This is the interface for ARC Control. And then over here on the right side shows Intel UHD graphics. That's his integrated graphics. No dedicated graphics card. Then games. Oh yeah, he says this one. He said, finally somebody. A games library screen for my system shows that somebody at Intel has a sense of humor. On the games panel, it says it looks like you don't have any games. Wow, sad. Thank you for that, Brian. Now let's go on to these favorites, shortcuts that I stored. I have down here my Windows Daily folder on my shortcuts, favorites, whatever we call them in Chrome. Down here on today's date, these are the two that I wanted to show today. So I'll right click on this, choose Open All To, and that gives me both of these. And this is the Crystal Disk Mark issue, and then this was LonDog. This shows the point. This link, I saved it with a timestamp. When you go to the share button under any video, you can click this checkbox so that this link includes the timestamp if you're trying to send that to somebody. So I saved that link in my favorites so that I could get straight to it. This is the part that Gary is referring to, Crystal Disk Info. In my preconceived notion, I saw this blue here, good, all of these were blue, we're good. Boom, move on. And Gary says, wait a minute, not so. There's more to this picture. I am liberally paraphrasing Gary. He didn't say it that way, but it was media and data integrity errors. Now, he even told me down at the bottom of the screen, it showed 2483. No, 24B3. That's not an 8. 24B3. These are hexadecimal numbers. And this is what he was saying is alarming. And I looked at that when I first looked at this raw values. Raw values, it kind of sounds like it's a numerical value of how many times it incremented to this. But I was thinking, is it some kind of an address number instead? I wasn't really clear on that. So to contrast that, let me bring up on another screen here, Crystal Disk Info. Now, actually, the Crystal Disk, the portable version that I had was very old, so I downloaded the new version, and it appears that they no longer have a portable version of Crystal Disk Info because I couldn't find it. So I actually have it installed on the computer now, so I'm bringing up Crystal Disk Info. If you just experienced a glitch, it was because of the user account control prompt. But here I'm going to show by contrast on my computer, when I look down this list for media data integrity errors, it's not even on this list. That's because currently I have selected the L drive, which is a spinning drive. I got to come over here to the NVMe drive, and now I see media and data integrity errors is at 0. And that's what we want to see. Also for critical warning, we want to see 0. Now on LonDog's, his critical warning said 0. What else in this list, since these blue buttons are not reliable for showing us that there's something of concern in here, I'm sure when it gets to a certain level of bad, these dots change to a different color. When do they do that? I don't know. When we're looking at an NVMe drive, we don't get those current, worst, and threshold, which these don't even seem to work right. To demonstrate that, let me show here in the current column, it says there's 200 read error rate right now. But over here it says there's 0. And then at worst, 200. And the threshold is 51, indicating when you get over 51, this dot should turn yellow or red. So I don't understand what's going on here. It is not, in my mind, intuitive. Somebody else may know more about how this screen works. But anyway, on the NVMe, what else are we concerned about? Composite temperature, 131. And LonDog's had 131E. So his is a little bit hotter than mine because E is a higher value in the base 16 numbering system than a 1 is. Available spare, 64. So basically the idea is, I guess, apparently, we got to actually look through these numbers and judge which ones are acceptable and which ones are not acceptable. I'm not very happy with that, but that's what that was, and Gary caught that, and I don't know that anybody else noticed that until he pointed it out here at this 24B3. 24B3, how bad is that? So if we come over to another tab, and just in Google, I'll say convert 24B3 3 from hex to decimal. And find that how to convert calculator, this one should do it. Oh, 9395 right there. So it's 9,395. Now, is that number growing? Is it increasing? Lawn Dog should go back and be checking on that now and then to see if it's increasing. Because Lawn Dog's actually still using the computer. It works fine, except for File Explorer. And something else that I noticed, that I think I thought I had something stored somewhere else. When we did that with Lawn Dog, I disabled the firewall for Windows Defender and still had the symptom, and then I figured, okay, Windows Defender isn't the problem. Wrong, back, not right, because I did not disable the active real-time scanning of Windows Defender. That would be on a different screen. I didn't deactivate that. So Lawn Dog, that's something you might try to do, is go deactivate the real-time scanning. So it's not something I need to do on my channel is demonstrate that. Don't just say go do it. So Windows Defender, obviously I am going overtime. Windows Defender, let's see, virus and threat protection. Pretty sure it's in here. Scan options, I think it's in here. And quick scan, full scan, scan protection history, allowed threats. No, not there. Where is it at? Virus and threat protection settings. That sounds like it. Is that it? Yeah, real-time protection. Turn that off, turn that off, turn that off, turn all of these things off, and see if that allows File Explorer to work for you. Now, of course, if you're going to turn that off and use the computer, high risk, but that might give you enough functionality so that you can copy out the files that you want to copy out. Just don't go doing anything significant on the internet. All right. I'm way overdue for going back to chat. So here we go back to chat. That's what I had last highlighted. And Ken was referring to PayPal about if you use the friends and family thing. I'm scrolling through quickly looking for the orange stuff. Hello, Catherine Anna Hauserman, Wintermute. Still a little fuzzy on the terminology. Intel ARC drivers and their software using the same terminology for the same thing. Drivers are the control software. When people discuss terminology are unclear. Yeah, welcome to the world of computers. That's what we got to deal with here. ARC controls, but not ARC controls, do not have to be drivers, which are different than ARC drivers. Going to the orange. I will read through the ones that are not orange. I'm going to try to hit the question marks. They're not quite so noticeable. Your Fallout client has integrated 750 UHD graphics on the CPU. Yes, and I think he had, isn't that the one that had another graphics driver with an exclamation mark? And I think he doesn't actually have a graphics card. One of those two, I don't know if it was Lawn Dog or Eric, had an exclamation mark in the device manager. The portable version is still available, zip button. I downloaded the zip version. When I extracted it, all it had in it was the installable version. Now, was it zip XP? All right, let's go look at that. Crystal, disk, info. Goes to their website. And he says let's see, download. I think when you hit this download button, it takes you to the next screen where you get to do the zip. Yeah, here's the zip XP. I did download that one, and it was an installer. So here I'll click on that to download that, and that brings us to this page, and it is downloading down here. So I'll come and show that in folder and bring that over to this screen. Why aren't you seeing the right screen? Oh, sorry, I hit Baby Beast button somewhere along there. How long was I doing that? You aren't showing your active screen from Selden Ball. How long had I been doing that? Ouch. Okay, so then here's Crystal Disk Info, the zip one that I just downloaded. So I'm extracting it. It extracts into a folder in the same directory. And then I'll show the files in there. That's replaced. I already have one in there. Let's get the files. Replace the files in the destination. Wow, I thought I was going to have to be muting the mic a lot to clear my throat. I had eggnog with breakfast between Fortnite and this show. My throat was so phlegmy. So then here's disk info 64. Now, is that going to kick off an installer? There's user account control. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I'll turn off that blur. I don't think it's kicking off because I already have it installed, or it's over here already open. So then let's go launch it again. Answer yes to user account control. Does it go to? No, it opened. Okay, I'll check that out more. Actually, I think I recorded my download and installation of Crystal Disk Info yesterday. I'll go back and see what I did wrong on it, because these files actually look different. So that's good. Thank you. I'm glad that I got that clarified. Write an email to the developer about Crystal Disk Info. I'm sorry, I know I'm not going to fix other people's software. If they can't figure out something that's that obvious, I can't fix them. There's too many flaws in the industry for me to take in my usable, billable time to try to fix somebody else's software. No, they need to get their act together. Media and data integrity errors are not hardware errors most of the time. Oh, what? So let's get back to media and data integrity errors are not hardware errors. So are you saying that maybe the NVMe drive isn't bad after all? That's what I'm thinking that means. I haven't seen an increase in bad cells. Oops, I think I got somebody at the front door. Yeah, I'm going to mute the mic for a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, yeah, somebody at the front door. I let them in to do their thing. And then, what do we got next? Am I back on okay? Yeah, I think so. I got that highlighted. You're not telling me there's anything wrong right now. So I think I'm back. Just wondering, were we supposed to see you do all the turning off? Turning off. What was I turning off? That would have been when I was on the wrong screen. Oh, yes, the Windows Defender. Yeah, so let me go back to that. So I press the Windows key, type Windows, go into Windows Security. You didn't see that. So then go into Virus and Threat Protection, and then come down to Virus and Threat Protection Settings, into Manage Settings, and then turn all of these items off. Now, you weren't supposed to see me turning them off because I'm not going to turn them off. Well, all right, I'll turn one off. And then user account control. So now it says real-time protection is off, leaving your device vulnerable. Now I'll turn it back on. Okay. Then continuing, I will read through these more closely later. I am going for the oranges and the question marks. You aren't showing your active screen. Yeah, got that. That is not, Gary, that is not, they are file system errors. Okay, so yeah, I think it's confirming it's not necessarily a bad drive. That perhaps just reformatting will clean that up, reinstalling Windows. Maybe. Now, another thing that was suggested, I don't remember, I think it was Dennis that suggested opening the box up and removing and reseating all the NVMe drives and all the SATA cables, both ends, all the power cables, just reseating everything. And so if it is actually file system errors that are happening from some reason like that, this might help that. And I think we also have an indication that the locations where Windows Defender operates from is significantly affected, and also Zoom, because he was getting consistently errors in Zoom when launching Zoom, getting Windows Defender messages, but yet Zoom would still run. This discussion of media integrity errors is something I was going to explore once I have a new drive and everything kind of running again. I'm going to do some testing on the drive to see what I can learn, everything from reformatting the drive completely, a full format, then running Samsung Magician testing software. Who knows what else I can come up with. Should test the drive with a tool from its manufacturer. Crystal disk is not always accurate for all the drives. Yeah, so when he did subsequently use the Samsung Magician software, and that showed up lots of troubles. But we don't have any screenshots or video of that. LomDog, it'd be interesting to, if you haven't done anything yet to it, maybe we could do another session and document that in a video to show what it looks like on Samsung Magician. Now, he also said that it got to a certain point and then it just stayed there for a long time. Sounds like he wound up aborting, canceling the process. I would have let it go for days before really concluding that it was stuck, because drive errors, when I've done other scan utilities, they can take a long time to get past a problem spot. And he made comment about it usually times out after a certain amount of time. Well, there may be certain conditions where it tries longer. I don't know. Memory cells are like charged capacitor. They break down over time. I should not be even near that. Not sure what that was in reference to. One of Carrie Holzman's frequent comments is that even the cheapest SSDs don't fade even after a decade. Spinning drives and SSDs and NVMEs, they can last for way longer than what the anticipated average failure rate is or lifespan is. After that sentence, English is not my second language. It's not my language at all. Oh, he deleted that. All right. I didn't even get to finish the sentence, Gary, although I have it captured on video. It got stuck approximately 20 minutes, would not move beyond. In how long of a time? How long did you wait? Did you wait 3 days? No, I doubt it. That cell that was being tested, so that's a big error. Yeah, is it an error? Is it a physical defect in the device? Or is it a problem with the data that was stored at that location and it's stuck trying to successfully read the data? How long is it going to take to give up on it? Just for good measure, try a different user account. Yes, Doug, I considered what is the termination time for testing the cell, and it's totally unknown, but 20 minutes seems long enough. Now, I have had times where I had a process running and it seemed to be stuck. And is it really stuck? So what I would do, depending upon the importance of retrieving the data, the importance of finishing this, some of them would have a graph that's going across and without numerical values. So I would move the mouse so that the right edge of the mouse is right at the edge of the graph, and then go away, go do something else for a couple hours or 10 minutes, depends upon what state I'm at in the process and how much time I want to give it. And I come back and find that it has incremented forward a little bit, just a little bit. Not enough that I could sit there and watch it move. It's like watching grass grow. But if it's important enough, now I would typically do that on a separate computer. I'd have not my main working computer, but I'd have a separate computer that would be running a long process like that. And I have ended up with success, meaning I got the objective achieved, got the data recovered. That attorney that I've told the story about once in a while, the guy that sued me after I successfully salvaged his business, sued me to try to get out of paying the bill. He was one like that. I think it took a few days. And it was stuck at a point multiple times. All right, I need to cut this down. There's some other orange comments there. I will read those afterwards and perhaps respond to those tomorrow. But I need to move along and go talk with these folks out here. So have a great day. I hope that was useful. Catch you later. Bye.